I was suffering from fatigue, and I was dehydrated, and I had COVID. Caught COVID in Vegas on the Super Bowl. When I fell, I hit my head, so I have a concussion. I'm out for 6 weeks.
Welcome back to the Power Up with Keith Withrow show as we pick up where we left off with sports journalist and owner of 3 Point Conversion, Raphael Haynes. Let's rejoin the discussion.
So, for the ones who are listening, and you have a husband or a mate that is aspiring to do something great in their lives, and it may not look as though it's going to pan out, I'm going to tell you something. I'm a witness, and I'm the guy who's taking the chance, and I've said it before. My ex-wife used to tell me, "You need to go on back to work." I'm rolling with what I'm rolling with. I'm getting my own business, and I just didn't stop, and I believed it. Faith without works is what? Dead. So, what I'm feeling so much about what you said so far, and what you get back to your story, that's a very important juncture that I just wanted to elaborate on for a minute, because this is some serious business. Because what happens, this will actually destroy a marriage. You may have your business, but then your marriage gets destroyed, which could ultimately take out the business.
Right.
Because if a man's not right, his product is not going to be right.
Right. See, the thing with what I was doing, I know a lot of other people out there dealt with this in the same, genre as far as in the sports journalism and everything. It's the fact that, especially like me, I'm a sports head, so that's what she knew. I'm a sports head, I love sports.
Right.
But then when you get in this position where now you're starting to cover it and you're writing and everything, it's still looked as a hobby, because you're not bringing anything financially in.
Right.
So it's looked as a hobby. Oh, this is, you just love. And it's like, no, it's not,
Right.
So
you're sowing seeds.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was a hard part in itself of trying to show that, this is what I do. This is what I'm not doing this for fun. This is hard work. And again, that's why I say that's probably one of the things I would do is be more transparent, or not even just transparent, just share, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is how this works. A lot of people don't get into just explain it,
right.
Which I didn't, because, again, I was tunnel vision. You know what I'm saying?
But what happens to us is when we hear some negative, what we'll do, us guys, we'll go in our cave with it.
Right, and don't say anything, and
you just get quiet,
just upset, and just
right.
She don't understand, and what have you, and so I was dealing with that. But then another part is when you what I've learned is when you tell people what you're trying to do, and when people can't see your vision, they'll send that negativity your way as well. Yeah. Oh man, you ain't gonna be doing that. That ain't gonna work, man. Or no, I wouldn't do it like that. You should do it like this, and
it's not your vision,
right? And so you hearing that, that's
right.
And so all of this is going on, but I was just so focused, because this is the first and only thing in my life at the time where, besides my babies, but I'm saying anything that I felt like I was going to be successful at.
Right.
Like my passion was all over this.
Right.
I never showed passion in anything else in my life.
Wow.
So I had to do it. So dealing with all of that, and then let's get to where when I did try to get with the Hawks, I remember you hearing no, or you trying to get in with these other teams or cover these certain organizations, you get a lot of no. So that could be devastating as well.
You hear a lot of no's.
Yeah, but
You have to have the mindset of a salesman.
when I tell you, I was so focused.
Didn't matter.
Okay, you'll see. As I remember telling the Hawks this, they told me, you know, I try to cover one of the draft parties or events where they was going to have, like, you know, the people they drafted, you know, we get to interview them.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, they told me, nah, I'm sorry, we can't do it. I literally emailed the guy, all right, thank you. I said, no problem. I said, I appreciate you for responding back. I'll see you next year. Responded just like that. I'll see you next year. But that's the thing. Again, I had faith and I believed it. So
Right.
I had to work and act as if it was happening.
Yes.
So even though I wasn't with the Hawks, whatever, my mindset and what I was doing, I was acting as if I was there already.
Yes.
So I was working towards it. And man, when I tell you, bruh, I promise you what I've learned, the mind is very strong.
And the mouth is even stronger.
Yes. What you tell yourself and what you believe, it's going to happen. You got to act towards it, but it's going to happen. When I tell you everything I believed in and I acted as if it was happening, it happened like that.
Promises to the believers. Cheat code. Inside track. That's one of the fringe benefits of being a believer.
Yeah. So,
That's part of that club, man.
man, and you know,
Yeah.
even then, covering the Hawks, I'm still doing this, yet still was like, I'm not satisfied, you know. I remember I had a talk with one of my friends, and I was telling her, because she has a business as well, and we were laughing because I said, it's messed up. I'm covering Super Bowls. I'm getting done. You know, I'm leaving the Super Bowl. I'm covering the Super Bowl, right? So
Right.
the first Super Bowl I get in, I wasn't even covering an NFL team, but because I believed it. First application I believed, I sent out, I believed it. I spoke it. I'm covering the Super Bowl this year. I got in. You got other companies that is more established covering team, they couldn't get in, but I get in. Just
You had
like,
your
wow.
press credentials.
Right. Just wow. And, you know, even dealing with, you know, confirmation, the company, the 3-point conversion, came up with that name. Some people was like, you should change it to this. Nope. I got a shout out to the Ross Design Group. My guy Galen, he did the my logo, and really charged me up nothing, and it took off to where that first Super Bowl I would never forget it. Now I'm a Chicago Bears fan,
Right.
so people like Brian Urlacher, Isaac Bruce, trying to think who else I met there, Ray Lewis, all these people, and they would see, you know, we taking a picture, we talked to them, little quick interview, whatever, because we didn't have a table at Radio Row,
Right.
but we hustling. I got my crew. We hustling. Hey man, while they waiting to get at the table, hey, you got 2 minutes. We just want to ask you 3 questions. Yeah, come on. I had so many people, so many of these athletes tell me, "Oh, the 3-point conversion. Oh man, that's dope, man. I like that. I like that logo, man. That's dope." And I was like, this is confirmation. But even with all that, we fast forward. I'm covering these Super Bowls. I'm leaving the Super Bowl, and I get home talking about, man, this is some BS. Because I'm not making the money. I'm not where I want to.
Even at that point, you still weren't.
Yeah,
making
because
any
I'm not, I'm not where
No
I want to
one's
be.
paying you.
Or if I'm making
you
making
weren't
little
making
money.
any money,
I wasn't making the money I wanted to make.
but
You
you
know,
were
I had
making
sponsors.
some money.
Very minimal. You know,
Were you even covering expenses? Probably not.
just with sponsors. Well, look, some Super Bowls I worked, I was, but then it was I came out the pocket. You know, we going to Miami, we going to went to Miami, LA, then we went to Arizona. So some of this I'm just coming out the pocket too. You know, most of it. I had a few that helped me out, what have you. Thank God for them. But some of it I'm still coming out the pocket. But even if it was, say my sponsors, I'm good, it was still like this BS because I'm not where I want to be. And we laughed about it. Like, you got people looking like, bro, you at the Super Bowl and I'm still, this is some BS, man, like bad. But that's because I'm not satisfied.
Right.
I see where we're going. So finally, this past year, February, or this year in February, I go to this Super Bowl. This year, I came out my pocket for most of the stuff, right? Mm-hmm. We come out the pocket. I bring my crew. This is probably the deepest we ever been. And we get there, get on Radio Row, and everything's just going great, man. I'm talking, I have these you know, Radio Row, you have, you know, it was the largest Radio Row event in Super Bowl history. So they had like over 132 tables, I believe.
Wow.
So you got all these people going to different tables, right?
Right.
And everybody's talking to them. They're going to maybe like 30 tables or 20, something like that. They're going to ask the same thing about Super Bowl, who you think going to win and all of this. Me and my crew was like, we're not doing this. We about to talk about anything and everything. We just talking. It was conversations, what we were saying. And you saw where a lot of the athletes that were coming on, or personalities coming to our table, and usually it's from 5 to 7 minutes. It was an average of 16 minutes for us. That's just the average.
They were engaged.
Yeah. 90% of everybody that came to our table, we had over like 35 guests. They were like, this is the best table we've been at here. Talking about all types of celebrities. Yo, this was the most fun I had. We had some guests that stayed for 41 minutes. Mm. You had some guests asking us, hey man, can I get on? Football players, hey man, I want to come to y'all table. It was ridiculous.
You had provision.
Waiting, right.
Because you in your lane.
Right, so.
You hit on all cylinders.
Exactly. So everything's going great.
I'm trying to tell you.
Everything's going great.
Right.
It went great. So the last 2 days I didn't get any sleep because we worked Monday through Friday. We get there 8:30 and leave at 7 o'clock at night some nights. But that Friday we were like, hey, we're going to party. We're going to have fun tonight.
Right.
Go out. We're in Vegas now. Remember, this 3 hours behind Atlanta. So we're in Vegas. Stay out till 6 in the morning. At 5 something, I go to sleep at like 6. I forgot to set my alarm. Take my alarm off. And it was set for 9 o'clock in the morning. So I only had 3 hours of sleep. Couldn't go back to sleep. We had to do these other events, do that. Come home. Wait a minute, I'm about to take a nap. They like, bro, we take a nap. I can't.
Right.
It's going to be a wrap. We need to go out because we want to, celebrate.
Right.
We go out. We stay out all night. Our flight is at 7. We leave, go to a flight at 7. We leave, catch the flight, go home.
7 a.m.
7 a.m. So this year, we didn't stay for the Super Bowl this year.
Right.
We left.
Right.
Got home, slept for maybe an hour and a half. I slept for maybe 3 hours on the plane, hour and a half. Watch the Super Bowl, go to sleep. The next morning, take the children to work, school. Had maybe 7 hours of sleep. So I'm like, I'm cool. Come back home, go back to sleep for like 3 hours because I was off.
Right.
And had to went out that night with some friends and City Winery, and sitting there. And if you've never been to City Winery, whoever watching this, they got a stage, and it's like the remind me of the 50s and 40s where you're sitting, they have tables and you're eating as you're watching them perform. And they were performing this play, and I'll never forget it. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, okay, I don't feel good. I had one drink now. I feel like I'm high.
Right.
I'm about to go to the bathroom. I couldn't get up to go to the bathroom. So I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. So I'm sipping water. Let me just And next thing you know, I felt like I'm getting sleepy and I doze off. Next thing you know, Raphael. I wake up, I'm good. And everybody's like, hey, you know where you at? Yeah. When's your birthday? Why? I said, is it my birthday? Who am I? Why are you asking me this? Then I realized I'm looking up. I see everybody looking down at me. I'm like, I know I didn't faint.
Right.
Like, oh, I passed out. So I got the smirk on my face, like, and I'm just like, all right, I'm about to get up. I'm good, y'all. So the play was still going on, I'm thinking, because I had the lady praying. Till I came to, they praying for me. They just stopped the whole play praying for me.
Wow.
Right? I pass out. I go back in and out maybe 2 times, whatever. Go to the hospital or ER. Found out I was suffering from fatigue, and I was dehydrated, and I had COVID. Caught COVID in Vegas for the Super Bowl. When I fell, I hit my head, so I have a concussion. I'm out for 6 weeks. Down with concussion
and COVID.
Hey, I pray for Tua. I get it. I don't make fun of him. I understand what it is. Because that's scary. So I'm out for 6 weeks with this concussion. Finally, get over that. Go back to work. 2 minutes being at work. I get it. Not even 2 minutes, a minute. I just logged in because work from home. The HR lady called me, hey, I need to talk to you. I'm thinking she's talking about my vacation time or whatever. Do we need to fix this or whatever? I don't know. She reading this long letter, and somehow I'm like listening to what she's saying. I'm like, wait, are you saying I'm laid off? I got laid off.
From Verizon.
From Verizon Wireless. So now I'm like sick. I'm going through a lot of stuff outside of, this with family and everything like that.
Right.
Just other little knickknacks. But the lady told me, because I'm thinking, like, okay, God. Well, let me go back. Before then, we had such a great time. I kept saying, I have a feeling the 3-point conversion is about to take off. I have this feeling, cause like I said, we were noticed. People knew who we were. They were, and it was just a great time, and we did very well.
Right.
So I knew we were going to take off. I had a feeling like we're about to ascend. I heard it, but I also knew
a storm was coming.
I told my brother, like, bro, I don't know what's going on. I just felt like something about to happen. And I told him, I said, I'm about to brace for it. And he was like, what you think's going to happen? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I just feel it. So I braced for it, ready, and sure enough, all this stuff with concussion, and then I lose my job and everything, all the stuff going on with my family, just a lot of other stuff, and the house, whatever. I mean, you bet at one point I could have been riding down the street, and if somebody stopped me at a red light, hey man, I think you got a nail in your tire, I probably would have bust out crying. That's how bad it was.
Right.
So, but I'm bracing for. I'm strong. I'm going through it, and I remember, my manager, one of the managers there said, you know what? Because you have that, because you got laid off, if you want, you can go ahead and apply for other positions, and you'll be the first one to interview. Right. Because you were already with the company, you got laid off, so you should be able to get a job. Right. I'm like, cool, I'll do that. Found out my resume, make sure it's great, and I said, you know what? I talked to God about it. Nope. I felt like God was saying, bro, you've been talking about taking this leap,
but it's time to jump.
You trying to worry about, well, I want to make sure I got this and all that, and you got to go.
You got to jump.
So I said, you know what,
God?
You
got to take the leap at some point.
Yep, I had to, and I told God, I'm doing it. So I told him, you know what, I'm not going to take it. I'm going to just take this severance and I'll be good, whatever. Man, when I tell you, as soon as I did that, everything started working. I've been trying to... Look, when I tell you,
I'm just laughing because
you know it because and
like the domino got pushed.
Right, it got pushed, and that's what needed to happen. You got to take this leap. Because I thought about it. Every successful person, for the most part, they're not. It's not one of those things where they was like, okay, somebody say, hey, here go $1 million. We're gonna no. Before they even got that, they grind. They took the leap. They took that leap of faith. You got to believe. You got.
That's right.
So I did it,
and let me say this one thing. I'm gonna add. I'm gonna ask you this. Was it not like when you did it, you made the decision to roll with it, take that faith and move with it, right? Things start to click so quick, you find yourself just responding to the opportunities and all the stuff that's coming together to make what it is you're working come to fruition.
Right.
And to move forward. So now you're just responding because the door's been opened and now stuff's clicking. And now you're just responding and time is moving.
Yeah, it's just happening.
Is that what happened to you?
Yeah, it was just
it
was just happening, and I tell you, it was such a relief of not working. I wasn't scared. At first, I was nervous, like leading up. Then I'm like,
when it's the time, you don't be scared.
I wasn't scared.
Nope.
You kind of like, all right, well, how am I gonna do this? But I wasn't scared.
You don't have nothing to be scared about.
I wasn't worried. I was more worried when I was working than I was when now I'm not working anymore. And next thing you know, now I'm getting into these events that I've wanted to. The Atlanta Falcons, I couldn't get into it with the Atlanta Falcons, and all of a sudden, I got in with the Atlanta Falcons. Now I'm covering the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to road games, not just covering home, going to road games with the Atlanta Falcons.
Right.
Other projects that you'll hear about later on is happening now. Like all of these things that I wanted, that I asked for, is coming together. The fact that I believed, I had faith, and I had God on my side, and I believed God, and I talked to God, and I knew it was so crazy how I was just so in tune with what was going on that I started to see the company taking off. But yet still, I got to go through this.
Yeah.
I didn't know why I thought that. I wasn't speaking it.
Right.
I didn't want to believe that, but I knew, I felt it. God, you know what? Whatever you say, and I'm riding with you. I know you're going to bring me through this. And so to be able to go through that adversity, and it was rough going through that. That was a rough, emotionally, financially, physically, going through this time.
Right.
When I had to go through that rough patch, know.
That's right.
But
that's what makes you stronger.
Yeah, it does.
That's what makes you have more redundancy. That's what builds up your tough outer skin. These are the things that make you become and move into your lane, because you gotta have that. And every time you get ready to get elevated, you go through another day.
Yeah, you got to. I always look at it as like working out or doing push-ups.
Right.
You get to that point, you're doing them push-ups, and it's hurting. You don't want to work out. You don't want to do all that.
They don't feel good when you hurt.
But when you're going through it, even with that, you go through that breaking point. You're doing them push-ups, and you get to that point where you can barely do it, and you're breaking.
Right.
And you just collapse.
Right.
But that muscle is broken through.
That's right.
Now you're stronger.
No pain.
Now you're ready to go to the next level.
Next time you can be strong. That's what makes you stronger.
Yeah.
When you go, oh man, this is good stuff, man. When you push yourself to the point of collapse.
Yep.
When you take it to the wall. You gotta take it to the wall.
Yep.
Most people never get and meet the promised land, as we're gonna call it. They never make it to Canaan, because they're scared to cross the Red Sea. When it opened up for them, I'm sure there's somebody who was scared. Man, these walls, I can see whales and stuff in there. It's going to collapse in and kill us all. Mm-hmm. They didn't have faith, right?
Right.
This is the one thing that if anybody gets anything for what we're talking about this evening, please get this. You have to believe. You got to keep pushing, no matter what. Most people never get there because they stop when it starts to hurt. the biggest part of your workout the best part is the last, when you get to the point of collapse, when you get to the point where you can't go any further and you do that last rep, you do that last set, that one counted more than the ones when you were fresh. Life is the same way. All of our blessings don't come turnkey. Some of them, some do. Somewhat. Sometimes the door is open. Sometimes the door is cracked. And sometimes you just got to kick the damn door in.
Mm-hmm.
It's above my pay grade. It's above my level of understanding. But you can say, and I can say, we're both living witnesses to this.
Right.
This is not something that someone wrote about, that we read about out of a book, which you still see it in books. I've read many books that talk about the same thing. This is what we're coming at you with. Live, real situations that are currently even ongoing, even the more. Mm-hmm. The story is not over. We're still in it. And guess what? There might come a time we're going to get hit in the mouth again. We're going to cross another desert. That's just the way it is. But you just don't stop.
No, you can't.
With that being said, Raphael, what else do you have to close with? Tell us about what we need to see in your product. How can we find you? How can we hear from you? How can we read some of your articles? And before I go, I got to hit you with this one. Man, what do you think about the Dirty Birds, man? What do you think about that call we got the other night? What do you think about the Falcons, man? Is it conflict of interest for you to say anything like that on this show? What do you think about that?
Well, I'll start with that. That no call was brutal.
Yeah.
That no call was brutal.
And I read some articles this morning where they're saying it's a trend with the champs.
You
They've
know
been
what?
Tracking that happens a lot when it comes to KC.
I think it's one of those things where it could be where, they get those non-calls or get those calls when because they are the champs. Now I will say the refs, that last drive, they walked down the field. Yeah,
all on calls.
Yeah. But I just think that the Falcons are right there. I feel like they can easily be 0-3, but they can easily be 3-0.
Right.
I talked to Ray McLeod, and that's what he said. He said, "Man, this build characters. They talk about preseasons and all these games building characters.
Right.
And that's what's happening. And you can see each game they're getting better. They're right there. And you got to think about it. They lost Caleb, and they lost the center.
Yeah.
In the game.
So they top line
with the last play. That's what they were saying. They ran up the middle and it got stuffed. So we got to run it. And Bijan said even Kirk made an audible, and they ran it that way because they were stuffed in the middle.
Right.
So, but just like we talked about, you go through things like that, it's going to make you stronger.
That's right.
They're going to learn from it. So,
that's right.
The defense is playing great. Yes, Kansas City hasn't broke out yet, but at the same time, defense had a lot to do with that.
Right.
And I think the offense will catch up. You saw the offense start getting better. Kirk is delivering the ball to Holland's receivers, even though Pitts had 2 catches, should have been 3 because of that touchdown.
Right.
But the fact that you see Pitts, he's looking better than he looked, in years.
Right.
You see Drake, looking good. Mooney, that connection. Ray, he looking good. So Falcons got something special. They right there. They right there.
They should utilize their power back a little more.
Yeah.
Like even on that last play,
they
should use the power back.
Right, they should have. Right.
What's the name?
I think
Algier.
Tyler.
That's my guy. He's at the point of contact.
Yeah.
He's good for at least 2 yards after the point of contact.
But I think that was the thing because he got stopped on that third one and they couldn't move.
Right.
Not just because of him, but they couldn't block him. So it was like,
right.
All right, we got to try to use speed now.
Right.
But I didn't like the call either.
Yeah.
So I was in there. I didn't like the call either. But other than that, like I said, I think the Falcons are great. But as far as the 3-point conversion, you can. I'm always put the 3-point conversion before me. But the 3-point conversion, we're on all social media platforms, even TikTok, so all of them, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X or Twitter, whatever it's called. Also LinkedIn, you can follow. Go to 3pointconversion.com as well. You'll see our articles, and even with the social media platform, we got our updates. We have our updates, hot news updates. We have our articles. We have highlights. We have post-game interviews. We have exclusive interviews. We have it all. Also, and it's at 3PTCNVRSN, or just look up the 3-point conversion. It'll come up. Also, you can follow me on Facebook, Raphael Haynes, but Twitter and Instagram, R.A. Haynes, then _. So I'm everywhere, man. And just, I want to leave, like you were saying, yes, you got to go through, and some people might not want to go through anything, but you have to go through. It's going to make you tougher. But the thing is, you got to believe. You got to act as if it's happening. You got to trust God. And I promise you'll be good, man. Like, the one thing that, from going through all of that, it wasn't just, okay, I went through all of that, now I got my blessings, but it made me mentally tougher.
Yes.
When things didn't look right, oh, I went through that. I'm good.
That's right. All you
so
gotta do
now
is look back.
Yeah,
the past.
Yeah. So
check that
now
out.
I'm stronger.
Yep.
Now I'm more focused, and so if that didn't kill me or put me down, I'm good. And from there, your confidence grows and everything like that. So I just say, just keep focused at what you're doing. It can happen. I'm telling you, I'm a firm believer. If you believe it, the mind and the mouth is very strong. The mouth is very strong. It's very powerful. Keep saying it. Yes. Write it down, but you gotta believe it. If you believe it, say it. Say it. This is gonna happen.
Say it out of your mouth.
I've said it, yo. Yes. I'm covering the Falcons this year. When I said it, look what happened. Look where I'm at now. I said, hey, we're about to get paid this year. I'm making it. It's coming to fruition. Like everything, man. So I'm telling you, believe it, say it, trust God, and act as if it's happening. That's all I'm gonna leave you with.
That's some good stuff, man. I tried to tell y'all, we're coming with some more hit you in your mouth content. Man, this has been a great interview. I appreciate you coming by and spending your time with us in our little humble set. And shout out to our boy Galen. He's the cat that makes it happen on our set and all our graphics too. And even the Falcons, that's my client as well, by way of standard parking. So we roll in the same circle.
Chicago Bears, though, man. I'm a Bears fan. I just cover the Falcons, y'all. I'm a Bears fan. We with you, Caleb.
It ain't where you from, it's where you at.
Yeah.
Dirty Bird country, dog. You see these colors in this office, don't you? Hey, man, with all that being said, I want to thank you all for coming by and spending a little time with us at Power Up with Keith Withrow. We're coming back at you with some more great stuff, man. We look to see you the next time, and we love you.
The Power Up with Keith Withrow Show is sponsored by Motor Coach Consulting International. Excellence in ground transportation.